Hey, what up, y'all? Nurse David here, coming at you from the den. And yes, the title of this video is true, and it's crazy to think about, but I am leaving bedside nursing. Now, I have been at the bedside for 9 years. I started off as a nursing assistant, where I was a nursing assistant for 3 years while I was working on my RN. And as soon as I finished that, they gave me a job on my same unit, which was med-surg but transitioned into neurotelemetry. So after 3 years of CNA, I transitioned to RN role. And as an RN, I have been there 6 years. I started as an RN, and then I had my work paid for my BSN. I went and got my BSN. Then I went and got my MSN in nursing informatics, which is kind of where we are at today. I have found a job finally in nursing informatics. And for those of you watching me or who have been watching me over the past years, couple years, you've known that this is something that I've been working towards slowly but surely. My interest in nursing informatics really started back in the end of my bachelor's program, where they start speaking about different ways that you can get your master's. Now, I feel like everybody was going towards their nurse practitioner, and in all honesty, that is not something that I really wanted. It's just something that I felt like I needed to do because everybody was doing it. But clearly, I did not choose a nurse practitioner. I chose nursing informatics because I felt like it still played a role in the way that healthcare providers provide their care, because it really has to do with the documentation and how the nurses operate on a day-to-day basis. And I'll get more into that whole thing in a different video, nursing informatics as a whole. But I want to talk about the reasons why I am leaving bedside nursing. And I turned in my 2 weeks, probably a week ago, and I was really excited when I got the call about getting the job. But at the same time, I've been on this unit for 9 years, and the thing is that I didn't necessarily love the work that I was doing, but I loved the people who I was doing it with, and that's the reason why I've stayed there so long, is because I had found this unit with this group of people who really made me feel at home and who I enjoyed going into work to work with them. Now, neurotelemetry, if you know what that means, it's pretty hectic, and it's usually less than desired for most nurses when they're talking about which units to work on. But having this family really made it easy to go into work. And with it being easy going into work, it has made it really hard leaving this job. Now, as a bedside nurse on this unit, I've kind of gone through all the emotions, I feel like, starting off in healthcare on this unit as a CNA and not knowing anything, to being in shock, like, oh my goodness, to eventually being a CNA that everyone really liked and appreciated because the work that I did I felt was quality work. But then going from that CNA role back into shock of being a nurse, because being a nurse is just a whole different world. Yeah, you're doing a lot of CNA work. So if you're wondering about nursing, if you're going to get away from CNA work, no. If you're a good nurse, you're going to do CNA work. But I started off in this role, again, in shock, with information overload. I would go home crying some days, yeah, and wondering, did I choose the right field? What have I done? I've put so much time and effort into nursing school and into this field that I felt like I couldn't turn back. But at the same time, I didn't want to quit because that first year of being a nurse was really rough. And I did make mistakes. You will make mistakes as a nurse. But I feel like that's the way that I truly learned. I really learned from my mistakes, and trust, I've never made the same mistake twice, because when it happens, you feel like a shitty person, you know? I'm not there to hurt or harm anybody, or my intentions of being a nurse are not bad. My intentions of nurse are to provide good quality care and do the best job that I can to take care of my patients. I don't go in there with ill intentions. So knowing days that I would mess up, it really affected me. But I feel like that's kind of the roller coaster of being a nurse and the emotions. So after the shock phase of becoming a nurse, I feel like I started to get that early confidence where I know what I'm doing, I can do it. And for sure, I made a few more mistakes. So then it kind of gets me down and then it has me questioning, am I doing the right thing? And at the same time, while you're an RN, every person in the hospital, including all your patients, they all ask you, what's next? And you're just thinking to yourself, what's next? I just made it. I'm a nurse. I'm nursing. I'm taking care of people. I'm doing what I wanted to do. But there's always that question of what's next and that pressure. So that's when I went into my bachelor's program. I took a year of working as a nurse, then I went to my bachelor's program and got that done. And once I finished that, at that point, I was still comfortable in my job, comfortable in what I was doing day to day, but I don't think that I was fully happy. I wasn't excited anymore about what I was doing, so it led me to thinking, okay, me asking myself, okay, what's next? And if you're a nurse, if you're a nurse, you have to be a nurse to, I feel like, to really understand this. It's always that question of whether it's someone else asking you it or you asking you it. So that's when I discovered nursing informatics, and I spoke to someone in the field, got more information, and this really kind of lit a spark where I was excited again. I was like, okay, I'm working towards something, and I went to school and got my master's degree. And I honestly could have made a lot more money being a nurse at a different hospital. There's definitely a better way of making your pay go up as a nurse. But on the unit that I was on with the people that I was working with, that's what really made me happy. And I knew that going to a different field of nursing at this point was no longer going to make me happy. I did not want to learn a whole new workflow, whether that be in the ICU or in the emergency department or even with children. I knew that was not going to make me happy, so that's why I decided to go down this route and stay on the unit that I was on. Now, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I could have found a job on a different unit, and it really could have been exciting to learn something new like that. But I honestly could not visualize it, and with me not being able to really see the benefits of going and starting brand new somewhere else when I knew this wasn't my long-term goal, I just stayed on my same unit, which then had me going through the feelings of I'm feeling stuck. And I'm sure other nurses can relate to this too, of feeling stuck where you are. You are not happy with your job, but you're not wanting to try a different line of nursing. So where does that put you? Well, that's when I finished my master's program, and that was June of last year, and I'm all excited to get a new job. I'm mentally slowly checking out of what I'm doing. Clearly, I'm still one of my head nurses on my unit by this time. I'm precepting people still. I'm head of my shared governance committee on my unit, but slowly I'm mentally checking out. And I kind of get sad again because going into this field, it was really difficult. I interviewed for probably 5 or 6 hospitals, and at each hospital that I interviewed at, they had 2 sets of interviews just to be told or not told that I didn't get the job. Majority of the places, they would not even send an email. I just checked on their portal, and after the interviews, it would just say not selected. So I kind of felt like here I am with this degree, which I wanted, but there's no job opportunities. At the same time, I feel like my friends on the unit are slowly leaving me as well. And by this time, right now, today, majority of my friends that I have made, that I still hang out with and talk to, they have left the unit. They've pursued something else because they've also gone through these stages. And here I am. So this whole journey of bedside care has really truly been a roller coaster, and it has its highs and it has its lows, and sometimes those lows are harder to get out of and it's got you feeling burnt out. But I always said that one of the best things about bedside nursing is the 12-hour shifts, because we only work 3 days a week. So I feel like the reason why I was there so long is because I was able to take anywhere from 4 to 10 days off, depending on how I made my schedule, and then come back into work with a completely new mind thinking, I can do this, when really after several more weeks or several more months of doing it, it had me thinking again, gosh, I need another break or I need to get out. And so here we are today. I turned in my 2 weeks. I have 1 week left, and it's going to be very, very different doing this. But I feel like in the end, I'm not exactly burnt out, but I'm not happy. I'm not truly happy with the work that I was doing. And I know a lot of people may not have been able to see that just because of the way I present myself in work. I'm a very outgoing person. I present myself in a way that you probably wouldn't know the feelings that I'm feeling, but I'm excited for what's to come, and I'm excited to jump into something brand new and start learning again, because they say nurses learn something new every single shift, and I guess that's true, but I feel like at this point I wasn't learning anymore. And the main reason I wasn't learning anymore is because I wasn't receptive to learning anymore. So I feel like with me not being receptive or open to learning new things or willing to research new things, it just kind of made it more clear that it was time for me to move on and try something else. So I am leaving bedside nursing, going on a new adventure of nursing informatics, which I cannot wait to get into. I work next week. I have 5 days off, and then I get into my job. So I'll make a video on that, letting you guys know how that is after trying to get in so long. And I don't want to cross bedside nursing off of my list completely, because if I don't like this, I will definitely go back to bedside nursing. But I feel like this time if I did, I would maybe try something new. And something that I always wanted to try was OR, working in the surgery room, whatever that entails. But yeah, I'm keeping an open mind, and that's where I'm at today. That's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to tell you about my experience of being a bedside nurse and the roller coaster of emotions that I'm sure I'm not alone when I am working, but I feel like it's something that we can all relate to. I think that's it, yeah. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.